wholehearted support and commitment to the establishment of state police. Accordingly, the forum encourages national and state assembly members in the region to expedite action for its actualization. The forum observed that illegal mining has become a major contributory factor to the security crisis in northern Nigeria. The forum therefore resolved to strongly recommend to the President to direct the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals to suspend mining exploration for a period of 6 months to allow proper audit and subject all mining licenses to revalidation for a period of 6 months in active consultations with the various state governors, and in the process arrest the menace of artisanal illegal mining. In order to effectively confront the security crisis in the north, the forum resolved to set up a regional security trust fund to be funded with monthly contribution of 1 billion naira from each state and local governments to be deducted at source under a framework to be agreed upon.
All right, let's get straight to that conversation. The northern leaders making very far-reaching decisions. Some of the highlights includes the, issue around state police. They support big time, just like their southern counterpart. The issue of suspending mining exploration for 6 months. That's the advisory they are giving to the president to stay put on that so that revalidation can be done, and because it's a major trigger, natural resources. And they talked about 1 billion naira monthly contribution from the 19 states, some form of a security trust fund. Let's bring in our guest who will be bringing us up to speed as well as his perspective on this far-reaching decision and, more importantly, the insecurity in parts of the north. Shehu Mahdi is a public affairs analyst. He joins us virtually. Mr. Mahdi, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
I did highlight some of the things that have been said. Are they drastic enough in your view? Do they inspire hope for the people of the north to say this is a step in the right direction to be able to curb the incessant killings and kidnappings?
Well, this is just a panicky approach to security. When you wake up and say you are contributing 1 billion naira every month, times 19 billion naira, to do what with that money? Where is the blueprint? What are they going to do in specific with that money? When you have no blueprint and you gather money, you file up money, the money will end up either being squandered or being wasted away. Nothing to implement it on. Number two, they are running away from the reality on ground. The reality on ground is that there is a linear, direct, indirect, and tangential relationship between poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, and insecurity. They can surrender the entire budget of the state if they like. But as long as there is no investment in education, in agriculture, in youth training, in so many critical factors and infrastructure, for that long they can continue contributing any amount of money they want, but security is going to elude them. As long as they don't checkmate themselves, the extravagant expenditures being incurred by most of the governors explains why there is no security, not only in the north, but all over the country. When you find admin cost of local and foreign travel by a governor, golfing more than 30 billion naira in 1 year, actually in less than 1 year, and you go to the same state, go to the Ministry for Health, you find the entire budget for the whole ministry for over 8-9 million people is less than 10 billion naira. If you go to Ministry for Youth and Women Affairs, the amount budgeted is less than 2 billion naira. If you go to agriculture, the amount is less than 10 billion naira. But in the office of a particular governor, 30 billion, 40 billion allocated for what? For admin and traveling. Anybody with that mentality and is telling you that he's serious about security, is only deceiving himself and also deceiving you. We need to have a practical approach. When you say you want state police, how, when? People have been calling for this state police for the last 10 years. They have been ignoring it. Now they want state police. What approach? Which structure is on ground for the state police? State police is very, very desirable. I am for state police, but not in a fire brigade approach. There is no state in Nigeria that doesn't have retired DIG, retired AIG, retired director DSS, retired director from prisons, retired director from immigration, retired director from civil defense, but they are not tapping into the experiences of these retirees who know the game better than anybody. Rather, some of them see them as enemies. As long as we don't bring in critical stakeholders, as long as government doesn't discharge its own responsibilities, as long as monies are being squandered and spent at will, for that long we'll just continue crying about insecurity, but insecurity will continue to challenge us.
Yeah, Mr. Mahdi, if I may comment, I know you've raised concern about lack of prudence on the part. I think it's across board, from federal government to state, where we've said, a friend of mine would say, is the moral hazard they have to bear for emotionally unintelligent expenditure, given the paucity of funds that we have as a people, yet we see them spending this money. Where I'm going to with that is, insecurity is biting really hard. So in terms of prioritization, don't you think that is an urgent situation that needs to be addressed? Then we can backtrack to these positive factors that you've listed, which are quite correct.
The truth is that there has been total neglect in the past. People were complaining they are being ignored. At one time, in a certain state, only 10 local governments were under the hand of bandits. Today in that state, 20 local governments are gasping. They are under siege. They are under the control of bandits. If you take the entire north, northwest, northeast, north central, almost 60% have been run over by bandits. And surprisingly, when Katsina was under siege, Kano and Jigawa folded their arms. And then they forgot about what is called the contagious effect theory. Now Kano is affected. Jigawa is affected. When Zamfara was under siege, Sokoto and Kebbi folded their arms. Now Sokoto and Kebbi are under siege. Now, if you go to Niger axis, it's over now to Kogi, it's now to Kwara, it's now to Edo, it's Ondo. You see, it is just going on like a bushfire. It is now a national disaster on account of total neglect and ignoring of clarion calls of citizens who mean well were ignored. Voices were ignored. In a society where you find a government spending billions of naira to buy vehicles for traditional rulers, same vehicles that they cannot drive now on the highway. Most of them that go to Abuja or come to Kaduna or go to Lagos for a meeting, they go on chartered flights. They can never drive those limousine cars. In a society where you give priority for luxury, you abandon education, abandon agriculture, abandon healthcare, abandon youth unemployment is there in millions. That society can continue pretending. That society is entitled to pretend. Those leaders are entitled to their own make-believe, but insecurity will continue being a challenge as long as we don't do the right thing. As long as we don't spend money meant for the public in the interest of the public. As long as we continue to personalize collective wealth of the nation by few people are holding the entire country to ransom. For example, Ned Nwako, not Nwodo, the senator, his committee said that they have discovered $306 billion, almost 484 trillion, questionable, doubtable, unaccounted for at NNPCL from 2017 to 2023. As if that was not enough, Senator Wadada, Chairman Senate Committee on Public Accounts, also said that 210 trillion need to be explained by NNPC. Just yesterday, day before yesterday, 17 trillion naira was spent by NNPC on what? On guiding pipeline at the rate of 1.5 trillion per month. A total of over 600 trillion naira is being questioned under just one organization. You have not gone to NPA, you have not gone to the MASA, you have not gone to Central Bank, you have not gone to so many organizations, FIRS, to find out the Quantamania.
Well, Mr. Madi,
that is money that is more than enough to make everybody comfortable.
Right.
Money that's more than enough to even help other countries. It is money being personalized by few people that are breaching the trust of the public.
Well, quite a number of issues you have raised, Mr. Madi, and you sort of focused on, government spending, use of public resources. You also talked about investing in education, agriculture, and youth development. Interestingly, these are the things being targeted by the terrorists. Education, schools being attacked, students being abducted, agriculture as well, farmlands being targeted, youth, a lot of these youths being recruited into the terrorist or bandit cells. So almost as though they are targeting what government should be doing and harnessing that for their own nefarious activities. But fundamentally, Mr. Madi, I want you to speak to this point because one of our guests earlier on talked about, the advent of terrorism, 1980, Metasini, and all of that, and how it has built up. In fact, he referenced, and I believe, Bauchi State Governor about 6 years ago, where he was talking about, the movement of people, how people can actually move and they shouldn't have restrictions and all of that. And these communities have said time and again that one, we know where these terrorists are hiding. We don't think government is doing enough. In fact, government also know where these people are hiding. So I wonder for you, what is the fundamental issue here that looks like is holding government back from acting? When I say government, I mean government, security agencies, and the rest. Are they afraid, and what are they afraid of?
No, just look at the manner and the pattern and the processes through which leaders emerge in Nigeria. Here you are in a country where a person is in a locality, and every locality is a well-known criminal, well-known lawbreaker, well-known offender, known to everybody. Yet, somewhere, somehow, that person emerges to become a local government chairman, a councillor, to become a member House of Assembly, to become member House of Reps, a senator, a governor. He can occupy the highest office in Nigeria. A person that emerges through that process, fully aware of his credentials as a criminal, will be a person that will have no courage, will have no guts, will have no audacity, will have no temerity to checkmate crime because he is part of the crime cycle. Number two, we abandoned competence for anything goes. Just look at what is happening now. Open your eyes well. Look at the entire political horizon. See the people in charge. You will cry for Nigeria. It's only in Nigeria where somebody who was in prison, charged for murder of a cabinet minister, collected his nomination form while in prison, filled in the form, was not even there during the convention, was given the ticket, and he became a senator while in the prison. And up to now, the case of about that minister that he is suspected to have facilitated in killing is still nowhere in the courts. In a society where somebody is facing EFCC charges of multi-billion naira fraud from his own state, he was being charged to court almost a week, in the next 1 week. The moment his name emerged as a ministerial nominee, the investigation went down completely. He appeared at the Senate, he was cleared. Everybody looked away from that crime. Many of them are there in the National Assembly, State Assembly, at local government level, at every strata of the society. A society where criminals are being celebrated, criminals are being compensated in a manner of speaking. That society must go into prayers. In a society where you negotiate with criminals, you give money to criminals, you give cash to criminals, you even surrender yourself to criminals. That society is a society that must go on prayers. It's a society that must ask its own honest question. Are we willing to go down completely, or are we willing to save ourselves? Well, apparently, Nigerians, both the leaders and the led, are not willing to save a society.
Well, Mr. Madi, pardon me to quickly come in here.
Sunk down.
Pardon me to quickly come in here. And you've talked about drastic measures. The Minister of Defense resigned late yesterday on health grounds, and there's going to be a security rejigging, we imagine. I remember in 2014, then President Goodluck Jonathan, just right after the abduction of Chibok girls, 200 and something of them, was asked to resign by now President Bola Tinubu. Over 300 students have been abducted in Niger State, and more being abducted. Is it fair to then call on the president to resign, as a lot of people have called, saying that the figures look even worse than then, during Jonathan's time?
You see, it is what is called nemesis and karma. Jonathan was blackmailed. Using what? Using Boko Haram. By who? By desperate politicians who are out for power at all costs. They were all over. They went to America, they went everywhere. They want Jonathan what? Removed. Jonathan, being a gentleman, fully aware that he was being blackmailed, went and even congratulated Buhari. He stepped aside. 10 years down the line, Jonathan must be laughing in his private bedroom now. 10 years down the line, Jonathan will feel vindicated now. 10 years along the line, they are reaping exactly what they sow, that of blackmail, that of hate, that of desperation for power that they planted 10 years ago, they are now harvesting. It is karma at play. It is nemesis at play. The same politician now that are running helter-skelter, contributing $1 billion naira, spending trillions of naira, buying drones, are the same people that blackmailed Jonathan. Therefore, it is a warning that every day could be for the thief, one day could be for the owner. You can continue to blackmail, you can continue to intimidate, you can continue to arrest, you can continue to pretend, but a harvest day always awaits the pretenders, the blackmailers, and the intimidators. This is the rule of God. This is the law of God.
Mr. Mahdi, you're making very weighty comments, or if you like, allegations, as the case may be. You say back then desperate politicians using Boko Haram blackmailed former President Jonathan, and they're the same who are now buying equipment, who are buying drones. It seems like this will not go away in the polity. Just yesterday, ex-CDS General Rabo was saying that some politicians are funding terrorism. Prior to that time, some other speakers have said there are certain persons, even in the government, that are funding terrorism. How does that relate really to also, or contrasts with the decision of the northern governors to suspend mining in the north? And we've heard, also that some foreign nationals are also fueling banditry in Nigeria's north. How does this all tie together?
See, let them give you the list of people they granted mining license. If you see the list, you will cry. I have the list up to 2024. I don't have that of 2025, but if you look at the characters and the characterization of the people given the license for mining, your mouth will drop. If you travel to Dubai airport, Dubai, they have no gold at all. In the entire space of Dubai, there is no single deposit of gold. But now Dubai is a heaven for gold. And 65% of the gold going to Dubai is coming from Africa, Of the 65%, 42 comes from Nigeria. Go to Dubai airport, go to the declaration desk, and see how raw gold is being declared for entry into Dubai. It's not illegal. You can take any quantum of gold, especially if it is raw, to Dubai, and you will have your dollar paid to you there instantly and instantaneously. Therefore, it is not the mining. They would never suspend mining. The owners of mining license are more powerful than the owners of oil wells in the south. They are powerful.
All right, Mr. Madi, we're totally out of
they
time.
Are strong, and
my apologies, Mr. Madi. I think your point is well noted, but for want of time, but you've made very, very strong statement that I'm sure everyone has paid attention to. But I must thank you so much, Mr. Shehu Madi, Public Affairs Analyst, who joins us virtually for this part of the conversation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.